Well, Ronald, here we are, the final game of the season. If somebody told you last summer that you'd be going to Manchester City on the final day with a chance of finishing fifth in the Premier League and qualifying for the Europa League, what would you have said?
Maybe I was laughing. Maybe I was laughing and asking where can I sign that piece of paper to be fifth in the league, that we still have that possibility. But no, of course not. Not so afraid, maybe like the fans in the beginning. But of course, a little bit surprised, and I didn't expect this fantastic season.
Do you ever think back to your first press conference, for example, where a reporter stands up and says, how are you going to keep this team in the Premier League?
Yeah, I was surprised about that question, because it's in my opinion a very negative situation to mention. But maybe for them it was really a good question. I was surprised, and I wasn't expecting that question, because even with all the changes in the team, the club, the structure of the club, the organization, the philosophy in the club is much more than that situation.
What was it that particularly gave you that confidence back then?
When I spoke to the club, and when I spoke to the board of the club, and of course we had to make some changes in the team, but we had the money to spend, and of course you need to spend it on a good way and to good players. And the scouting did a great job. We had some good players on the list, and of course my knowledge about some players like Dusan Tadic, like Graziano Pelle from Holland, it was an easy choice for me to put them on the list, and to go for really good players and players in positions what we need at that moment.
Even during that first month or so of your management, there was still a few worrying moments, wasn't there? Especially for the fans, seeing people like Callum Chambers leaving after you came to the club. Were there any worries from you at that point?
No, of course, always you have moments in a day to have doubts about that kind of situations. But if I'm doubting, if I'm not sure about the team, about the players, about the situation, how can I ask the players to be confident in to change that situation? And that, I think we did it well with Les. That we had always good communication to some players. Of course not to everybody, because always in a team you have captains, and we spoke a lot to Kelvin, we spoke a lot to Jose. And to give them the information, not to be afraid, but the club and I as the manager, we're working hard to bring good players in and to continue what Southampton did last season.
You mentioned Jose Font. How important was the moment when he signed a new contract just before the season started? He committed his future, he took the captaincy from you as well. How pivotal a moment was that?
That was very important moment. First for himself, and then for everybody, because that shows the ambition of the club, that he likes to stay, and that's always a good message to the rest of the players, and that helps everything in that moment.
That transfer window was a busy one, not just players going out but players coming in. Do you look back at any one particular signing as being a really important one of that July-August period?
I think the goalkeeper. I think Fraser Foster was a very important sign for the club. Really good goalkeeper, international goalkeeper. Not the oldest one. That means that we have a long time we can have Fraser as our goalkeeper. And I think that gave the team the confidence, and he played a big part in all the clean sheets in the first part of the season, and that was an important one. But if you mention one, don't think that I forget the rest of the players, because Graziano did a great job this season. Dusan, still his groin problem was very good sign this season, And Morgan, a difficult situation in the preseason, and finally stayed this season and showed his qualities during the big part of the season. But that was important.
Talking about Morgan, how impressed were you by that ability to forget everything that had gone on during the summer, all the difficulties that he experienced, seeing friends leave the club, and to immediately become a really important player for you?
No, that's always you like to have a player like him, because I understood his situation at that time, because everybody has his own ambition to play Champions League or to play in a big club in the Premier League. I think I understand that's a good ambition, and but sometimes you have to explain the player why we can't sell him after that we sold a lot of players, and that was difficult. But I think we did it on a good right way to tell him why, and to have the communication to Morgan, and finally he accepted to stay, and he played a fantastic season.
The first game of the season was a difficult one on paper, a trip to Liverpool, who'd been really impressive last season. How did you feel in the hours, the days leading up to that match?
Good, with full of confidence about the players, about the team organization, about the spirit of the players. But that's all out of the pitch, and we have to show it. And I think that second half against Liverpool, that we play really good football, that we had the better chances in the game, and even the bad result, the 2-1 lost, makes the people, the fans, a little bit more proud, a little bit more confident of the team, and that was a very important afternoon, because that we showed to everybody that still we have a good football team, and okay, maybe the next one against West Brom at home was not the expectation what we had about that game, but little by little, after the first 1-2 matches in the season, we did a great job.
The chairman, Ralph Kruger, spoke at the awards dinner earlier this week, and he said that win over West Ham, he thinks, was one of the most important moments this season.
Yeah, I think so, because it was the first victory that season, in this season. It was before the international duty, and I think the way how we beat West Ham was very good. It was about playing good football, offensive football, creating good chances and scoring, and that was a good lift after the international break to continue. The
next big highlights, I'm assuming, are a big win over Newcastle and an even bigger win over Sunderland.
Yeah, that was amazing. Of course, the 4-0 win against Newcastle was very good, but the 8-0 win against Sunderland was amazing afternoon. A lot of mistakes, but good football, creating a lot of chances, and really to score till the last second goals what we like to score, and that was a great afternoon.
I'm guessing that day is going to stay with you for a very long time, really.
Yeah, but because that 8-0, you expect that in the Dutch league, for example, in the past, but not in the Premier League, because normally there is not so difference between the clubs in the Premier League. But that afternoon was strange, very strange.
The end of November and the start of December was a testing period for everyone at the club. Injuries started to hit, suspensions, bad weather. How much of a challenge was that for you as the manager?
Well, it was also a new situation for me personally, because normally in Holland we have a winter break for 1 or 2 weeks, and that gives everybody the rest what they maybe need. And we had some tough games against the big ones, and what you mentioned, we had some injuries more than in the beginning and more than now, and that makes it difficult. But I remember the Everton home game. We had Harry Reid on the pitch, and he gave the team so much energy at that afternoon. and the whole bench was about under 21 players, and that was good. One side to know that we have a good academy, that if we need young players, we can take them, and for them was a fantastic experience that afternoon, and that makes it good because it's not about everybody available. Even when some good players are injured or not playing, then you can beat teams like Everton.
Did that give you a lot of confidence for the future? Maybe even in January, where a lot of managers may have been tempted to go and sign players on loan, this, that and the other. Having seen those players do so well in such adversity gives you confidence for the long term.
It was important to see that we have not only 11 or 15 good players to play in the Premier League, but really we need 20, 24 good players to have really competition in the squad, and that's important.
You mentioned the lack of a winter break. Personally, how much of a challenge has that been? Maybe for you, but also players, as you mentioned, like Dusan Tadic, Graziano Pellè.
Yeah, it's different, but I like it. Only what I can't understand is that you play the 26th of December and you played the next one at the 28th, 2 days, but playing on Boxing Day. I like it. I like to play on Boxing Day, no problem. 1 of January, it's a strange day, but all the stadiums are full with the crowd, and that's Premier League. And if you go to Premier League, you have to accept that, and it's very enjoyable. But it's tough because the players has to play a lot, and in that period, normally you get more injuries because about that kind of numbers of games.
After Christmas, one of the big highlights, I guess, has to be the win at Old Trafford and a victory against your old friend Louis van Gaal as well.
Yeah, that was special. I think it was well deserved, even more after the defeat at home against them. We deserved much more than we get at that night, and it was a great performance because you have always stadiums, but stadiums like Old Trafford, in my opinion, are special. 76,000 people supporting and 3,000 supporting Southampton. But to show really that quality what we had in a team on that afternoon, and I think it was in 25, 26 years not happened that Southampton won in Old Trafford. It was a great afternoon, and not only that afternoon, that whole week was amazing with the win against United. With I think we played the replay against Ipswich, and finally to finish that week the win against Newcastle.
So many away wins this season, quite unusual really for a club to win so many. What do you think the factor is behind that in achieving so many away successes?
I think the key to be successful in away games was and is the good organisation what we have in a team, and the confidence what we have to really manage the game and defending the game and waiting to the right moment to score, and of course a number of clean sheets, and a number of clean sheets make a lot of points.
We can see behind you 2 Manager of the Month awards, other awards as well for performances. How pleased were you to take those across the course of the season?
Yeah, that's I'm very pleased and very proud to get that kind of awards, because that means a lot to myself and to the rest of the staff, and to win 2 times the manager award of the month. It's special because that seems a lot to the players, to the team, and to everybody, and the best performances of the week. It's a big compliment what we get as a club, and that's fantastic.
Personally, away from the training ground, away from the pitch, how have you found your first season in England?
Yeah, fantastic. From the first day when I step in the club, really good feeling, really a big family. I think that's one of the strengths of the Southampton FC, and everybody is working hard, and everybody is doing things together to make to get the 3 points on the Saturday afternoon, and that's great to be part of that.
And for your brother, Erwin, obviously coming over with you, how has the whole year been working together? We spoke a lot about it at the start, but has it been everything you expected?
Very special to work together outside of the country, Holland. It was a special wish of our father, and now it's great to be and to work together in one technical staff, and of course all the results in this season makes it more special.
Your technical staff as a whole, though, I mean, obviously you've got Erwin and Jan, who you'd worked with before, but the addition of Dave Watson and Sammy Lee means you've got a really good blend there. How has that support group been for you?
No, you have always to wait if something works, and of course, after one meeting what we had together, the feeling was good. Really hard work people. Dave with the goalkeepers. Dave is the responsible person about the set pieces and a great influence in the team. And Sammy, I knew Sammy from the Liverpool times when he was a midfield player. He played from Osasuna in Spain. I think it was a little bit before. I played for Barcelona, and big experience in the Premier League. A lot of knowledge about English football, and really fighting spirit for everybody in the club. And yeah, I'm very proud to have the technical staff so close together, and I think that's important. That if the players look to the technical staff, they see really it's a team, and that's important to show.
We can see also pictures of your family. How much have they embraced being part of Southampton, and how important have they been for you, their support?
Always a lot, because I think that's the most important part in life is your family. Okay, my family lives, my wife lives between Southampton and Amsterdam, and my kids are working and playing football in Holland, but every time when they come over to see a match, they're happy, and they're really proud of the father.
How proud are you of this year?
Very proud. I think amazing season, what we did, and it makes it more difficult for the next season. The expectation will be more higher then, but we believe into doing and to keep going. But in a personal way, I enjoy very much to be part of the Southampton club, to be part of the Premier League. I think it's the best and the strongest competition in the world, and keep going.
You must be proud of yourself as well, because you made that decision, didn't you, to leave Feyenoord, to look for something new, especially after a couple of short spells, maybe one at Benfica, one at Valencia. To have now made such a success of your first trip to the Premier League must be very pleasing. Yeah,
sometimes in life you make decisions and you don't know what will happen. And okay, in the Valencia period was a bad period, was a short period, was a difficult one. But from the first day, what I said about Southampton, that feeling was okay, and really a nice club, really a good structure in the club, and okay, well, I have that knowledge from Holland, and in Holland we are used to work with young players and to develop players, and I think that together was and is a very good connection.
Now the club, as we've said, could achieve European qualification this weekend, maybe next weekend if things go differently. But is this club ready for European football? You've managed in Europe before. How ready are we to experience that?
I think still the club is growing, and okay, to finally to reach the highest level, you need that kind of experience, and it will be different if we reach European football for the players, for the coaches, for the fans. And will be different for the club, but you have to see that, you have to learn that, and it will be a great achievement if we play really next season European football.
Is your planning very much now underway for next season? I know you've got an important game this weekend, but surely you are now starting to think about what you're going to do.
Yes, of course. You have to prepare the next season, and all the plans are ready. Everybody knows when they have to come back. Of course, about the team, that's some questions. But our planning for the pre-season to play and the friendlies and the preparation for the season is already done, and we're looking forward.
And for the individual players as well, we've spoken briefly about Graziano Pella and Dusan Tadic. How much better do you think they can get now they have had that experience of a year in England?
I think for them it's a good experience to really to know what happens in the Premier League, how strong is the league, how difficult is the league, and how tough is the league about the physical stage of the players, about a long season, and like Jose and like Graziano, they new international players for Portugal or for Italy, and it makes it more difficult. But they are strong, they are good people, they are personalities, and it will be good for them. This experience what Graziano, what Dusan, Toby, Sadio, these players will have a good experience about his first season.
And for them to get a full pre-season with you as well is important, because players like Sadio, as you mentioned, you didn't get him until the end of September.
That's sometimes difficult in football, because about the deadline of the transfer window, it's closed the end of August, and you start next season. We start on the 8th of August, and you have 3 weeks more to do changes in your team, and that sometimes is difficult. You know that you don't have really the squad what you have in September to start the season. It's football, it's difficult sometimes, but I accept it.
And what about you? What lessons have you learnt from your first year in the Premier League, and are there anything that you would change next year?
Okay, always you have the experience in my first season, but I'm not a different coach than I was last year in Holland. Only the level of the Premier League is higher. It's more intensive, the game in this, and that's different. But the really idea to be the coach, to be the manager of a team, is not different. And no, that's not different.
And just finally, we should talk about the rapport you've built with the Saints fans. We see them singing your name even louder every single week. We saw at the Player Awards dinner this week just how much love they've got for you, really. How has that relationship been?
Yeah, amazing. I think from the start of the season. And of course, everybody has to show his qualities. And of course, as a coach, you be a fantastic one if the team win, and you're not so good one if you lose. But I don't think it will be like that with the Saints fans, because they are always supporting the team and the coach and the manager, and it's a fantastic connection, and we hope that we can do the same in the next season.